Imagine your plane taking off, but suddenly the onboard computer is now under the control of someone on the ground using a smartphone app. That scenario of an aircraft hacking was laid out by German security consultant Hugo Tesso at a conference in Amsterdam. In his presentation, he shows how he bought some of the hardware and equipment he needed on eBay and through private vendors. He created an app he's calling Planesploit, in which he was able to, on a flight simulator, take over some of the plane's operations. We reached Tesso via Skype. Does the operator of this app need to be on board the plane?
One of the things of my research is that it needs no physical contact with the target airplane at any moment. Everything can be done remotely without having to access to the airplane.
So this is what the inside of a 747 looks like. What Tesso says he can do is to control the plane remotely. That means changing the display, what a pilot sees, as well as changing the altitude of the plane. What would be the worst case scenario?
Well, the worst scenario would be, as far as I know, that somebody may try to use these security issues in order to attempt against the life of the persons on board the airplane.
But before you panic, there's a few things you should know. Tesso hacked into an on-the-ground flight simulator, not a real airplane. Security experts say to affect a real plane would be much tougher to do.
So far, all he's done is hacked into a PC. So the question now is, would there be some chance that somebody could emit a signal from the ground to an aircraft and somehow get into the software of how the aircraft itself runs? And that's a big leap between what this guy has done and actually controlling a plane in flight.
The Federal Aviation Administration is strongly pushing back in a statement saying a hacker cannot obtain full control of an aircraft as the technology consultant has claimed. Tesso himself also acknowledges that a pilot on board could always override the autopilot computer and regain control of the plane. But still, his hacking presentation is getting attention.
It's a yellow flag that says, hey, I've done something to your system. Why don't you go take a look at that and see if it can take it the next step to see if it's a real threat.
So, bottom line for now, you can rest easy if you have to get on an airplane. And it's a reminder, again, this was done in a simulated setting that is far from a real aircraft. But it does raise the question, do airlines need to rethink security in these terms? Because after all, with modern aircraft, well, what's usually flying the plane for most of the flight, and we all know this, Wolf, it's usually the autopilot, and that is essentially one big, gigantic computer.